I've been sitting here for the longest trying to figure out some clever way to start this video. Welcome to my first YouTube video. Let's do some morning skincare and just chat and get to know each other. Got my coffee. Hello, my name is Candida, and I'll try to remember to go through and share my skincare as I'm doing it, and I will also link it below in case you have any interest. This is the Skin Smart Antimicrobial Facial Cleanser, and it's a very affordable hypochlorous acid spray if you are in the market for one. I just got it on Amazon. Like I was saying, I am 43. I'm an American living in Canada. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. I've been living in Vancouver, BC for about 4.5 years now. And people always ask, why did you move to Canada? And it's a story as old as time. I met a man. I was in a place in my life where I thought, you know what, I'm looking for a change, and it sounded like an adventure. This is the Comfort Ceramide Cream Mist from CosRX. I never considered or thought about moving to Canada prior to meeting my partner, but here I am. I'm an older mom. I had my first baby a year ago at 42, a month before I turned 43. My daughter will be 1 in January, and honestly, it's just kind of crazy. The year has gone by so quickly, but it's also felt like a million years long, if that makes any sense. Time has gone by so fast, but it's also felt long. It's been a great year, but it's definitely been a trying year. My partner and I, we don't have any support nearby. I just used a Tur Milk Skin Toner. Such an amazing toner. Yeah, so my partner and I, we don't have any family that lives nearby, and we're basically just grinding it out, just the two of us with our daughter. He has a very demanding job, and I am in the kind of beginning stages of building my own freelance business. I do a lot of freelance content creation. So my background is I was a model for 12 years. I did assistant wardrobe styling. I was in merchandising. I was a buyer. I was an agent at a modeling agency. My wheelhouse is just kind of in creative, in marketing. So I kind of fell into this job naturally. I really enjoy being creative. I have a degree in English. As much as I love what I do, I would say that probably trying to start a business at the same time that you give birth and you are also a stay-at-home mom, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend. It's not for the faint of heart. It's been a crazy year. This is the Ordinary Argireline. I never know if I'm saying that right. Argireline solution, 10%. And I think, because of that, I definitely have found myself in a stage, I said, as I'm nearing the 1-year mark of being a mom, I'm kind of in this place right now where I felt very disconnected from myself for a long time. My pregnancy was kind of difficult. I just did not feel well. I had just a lot of random symptoms. I had a belly button hernia, which was painful, and I had a really bad acid reflux that I couldn't eat a lot of things. I also had a lot of food aversions, especially to things that I would say were normal in my everyday routine, like prior to getting pregnant. I had a lot of aches and pains, so I wasn't able to move the same way that I wanted to. I just felt very much not like myself. And then my delivery was kind of hard. My recovery from my delivery was hard. So I just kind of I have felt unlike myself for a long period of time. And now that we've kind of reached this year mark, and I feel like I have a handle on surviving. Not that I know what I'm doing per se. And that's a crazy thing with kids that you realize is every time you get to a stage where you feel like you're figuring it out, they change, and then you have to learn how to survive all over again. So I feel like I have a better handle on my daughter. Not to say that there still aren't frustrating days where I'm trying to figure out how to juggle everything, being a mom and trying to be the best mom that I can be, taking care of the things that need to be done around the house and just adult life in general. And of course, my job that fills me up in a lot of ways because I do really like what I do. but there's not a lot of time, I would say like intentional, like targeted time for myself, which at this stage in my life, being in my 40s, I just learned that that's really important for me to just feel good and to show up in my life the way that I want. Obviously, prior to having a child, I could dedicate as much time as I wanted to my self-care, working out, my movement, sleeping well. I'm a true introvert through and through. I recharge alone by myself, and I really don't get any alone time right now. So that's been super hard. Just so many things, like being able to read a book, being able to journal, being able to just like put a podcast in and go for a walk. And it's like, yes, I can still do those things, but it always feels like it's at the expense of something else. So I'm really trying hard to make intentional time to pour into myself, I guess, because I'm definitely at a point where I'm just not feeling great. I am grateful. I have a great life. I have so many things that are so amazing. They talk about, look at your life right now. You have so many things that you dreamed of. Yes, that is true, 1000%. But I also feel like, and I mean, I never really knew this before, obviously, because I wasn't a mom. But, you know, the output as a mom is a lot, and the input back into yourself is usually in the negative. I kind of feel like I'm in a stage where, in my mind, I'm calling it my postpartum glow up. I want to feel strong. I want to feel confident. I want to feel empowered. I want to feel like I am giving to myself more than I have been. Okay, next I'm going to go in with this is the Medicate C Tetra Lipid Vitamin C Radiant Serum. And I've been testing this out and really liking it. Before I had my daughter, I was in the best shape of my life. I really had made a conscious effort as I was getting ready to turn 40. That was kind of my goal. Part of it was to be in the best shape of my life, and part of it was also to just heal some of my body image issues and just kind of, I had been on a weird roller coaster with just working out and trying to eat right, and really it was about feeling my best. Yeah, I definitely dealt with a lot of body image and self-worth issues that stemmed from my modeling days, because prior to modeling, I never really even thought about my body at all. I was never an athlete. I never played any sports. I was just kind of an active person. I just walked everywhere, and I never really thought about my body at all. And then I'll never forget, I was 19. I started modeling, and my agent basically told me, "You're soft, you need to firm up." I had no idea what that meant. So I was just constantly trying to search for different ways to try to work out. Imagine, and this is going to age me. When I was 20 years old, I lived in this little apartment by myself and absolutely loved it. It was my first apartment alone. It was probably like 450 square feet. I used to move my coffee table out of the way, and I would do Billy Blank's Taibo workouts, uppercuts, roundhouse kicks, like the whole thing. That was my first foray into exercise. I also did, does anybody remember? Please let me know in the comments. The Firm videos. I don't even know if that brand is still around, but my aunt had all of these videos, the women in their leotards, and they had the flesh colored nylons on, and they had the step that they would do a bunch of their moves on. That was me first trying to learn how to work out. And I also come from a time where everything was about cardio, fat-free this, fat-free that. I never had good eating habits. There was nothing that I was doing that was sustainable. It also wasn't super healthy for me. And I kind of was on this roller coaster for so many years. And then I went through a period of time where it was like I was trying to do 2-a-day workouts and doing like all these HIIT workouts. And I have cortisol and adrenal issues. It was just going against what my body actually needed. And then when I was in my late 30s, I went through a really terrible divorce. I lost like 20 pounds in a matter of like a month because my life was so stressful and just a hot mess. And it's so weird as women, right? Like how we see ourselves, because I remember looking at myself and feeling gross. Also, sorry if you hear noise in the background. That is my partner and my baby. I had just I lost my boob, I lost my butt, I lost any little curves that I had, but I was also simultaneously obsessed with the size that I was fitting into. I was hurting, I was going through it, and I was definitely not healthy at the time. So when I kind of got out of that period of my life and built myself up again, I really was determined to work on my body image and to just get healthy. And I just really wanted to get strong. I wanted to get strong. I wanted to get healthy. I wanted to feel great and go into my 40s era of life just feeling my best. I had done a lot of work up here on, trauma and past stuff. And I was like, okay, now it's time to take that in physical form and just get really strong. And so I just kind of committed to a long-term progressive overload program, and I started walking. Like, I wasn't doing HIIT workouts anymore. And then moving here to BC really kind of kicked that into gear. So I moved in 2020 during the pandemic. I do not recommend moving to a new country during a pandemic. That's a story for another day, but that's what I did. At the time, my partner was working to sponsor me for my permanent residency. And it just took freaking forever. Everything with government was just like backed up. So I couldn't work, and I didn't have really any friends here. I didn't have any kind of life built here. So basically I got a gym membership, and that's what got me out every day. And that's also what got me used to the city. I'd walk to the gym every day. I would get my steps in, learn my way around the city, and I would do my workout. It helped give exercise and just movement. It just made it more positive, and it became such a mental health thing too. It really helped me, deal with the change of moving. At that time in life, there were so many things going on, and everything was kind of up in the air, and some things were scary, and some things were unknown. And because I was here, I was kind of stuck here. I wasn't able to go back home, because if I did go home, I wouldn't be able to come back. It just became a very cathartic, therapeutic kind of thing, which was great because that helped me kind of change my mind frame about working out. And I also started to see results like I had never seen before. And so I was like, okay, this really works. And I changed the way that I ate, and I ate more, because I think also back in the day, I had that mind frame of you're just trying to eat as little as possible. I mean, oh God. If you're in your 40s like me, maybe you can relate, but I just feel like the things that we were taught as women in terms of how to, I don't even want to say take care of ourselves, because I wasn't taking care of ourselves, but it was just what we were taught in terms of food and nutrition, and working out was just so terrible. And I definitely developed so many bad habits because of that it was really hard to break out of them, because it's, again, such a mental thing. I was able to get into the best shape of my life before I had my child, and I felt so good. And it was really kind of a bummer to me. I'm forgetting to do my skincare. I'm going to go in now with the Prequel Multi-Quench Plumping and Hydration Serum. Love this stuff. So good. But yeah, which was so great, but it also made it difficult when I got pregnant, and I just wasn't able to do so many of the things that I was used to doing. And oh God, sometimes social media can be so great, and then sometimes it can just kind of make you feel worse. There were definitely a lot of accounts that I was seeing of women who were boasting of how they were able to keep up with their routines and stay strong. And this is nothing like negative about them. Like, I think you can do that, and it's wonderful when you can, but it did kind of make me feel bad that I wasn't able to, just because, like I said, of how my pregnancy kind of manifested and just the symptoms and things that I was having. So there were certain things that kind of made me feel like a failure in a way, that I couldn't keep up the healthy lifestyle that I had built for myself. My recovery was really hard too. I still don't feel like I know this body yet. And I haven't really had the time to put into getting myself back to feeling really strong again. I think that's the thing that I miss the most. Like, of course, like the aesthetic aspects, but I just miss feeling so strong. So that's kind of my focus with my, like I said, I'm calling this like my postpartum glow up. I want to reignite my love of fitness again. I want to make time for myself so that I can feel strong and, yes, of course, build my body body back because I do miss some of the aesthetics of my body. I'm also getting married next year in May, planning a bachelorette party for Mexico. So yeah, I do want to feel good and I do want to look good, but so much of it I think is the mental aspect of just really wanting to put time into myself. Yeah, I'm just trying to be more intentional about giving myself time to fill myself up, do things that make me feel good. I keep telling myself that I deserve it. And if you are in a similar position, you deserve it too. We deserve to fill up our cups. We give so much to others, especially as moms. And I think it's just important to remember that we have to give back to ourselves too in order to show up the ways that we want to in life. So that's what I keep reminding myself in those times where I'm like, oh, I should do this instead of working out or taking a nap, journaling if I need to, or just trying to spend some time on my own. If you are in a similar situation as me, maybe this video will help you feel a little less alone. I know that's a big thing that I've kind of gone through is you just kind of feel like you're going through things on your own. And again, for me, being older, all of my friends had kids a long time ago. So I do kind of feel like I'm alone in some ways. Just trying to navigate that, and I just want to feel my best. You should feel your best too. Okay, next up, I keep getting distracted. This is the Naturium Barrier Bounce. I used the Evolve app, which used to be the Tone It Up app. That's what I used when I was really getting into my fitness. And there's a build program on there that's like super long. And I just loved it because I didn't have to think about it. You just open up your app, you just do your workouts. Felt so great doing it. So that's basically what I'm going back to. I've been using it since 2021 probably, and I've tried a bunch of other apps and it's honestly just my favorite. If you are in a similar position as me and you're looking for an app to kind of help you kickstart your movement and workout, I highly recommend it. I mean, I think there's a postpartum program on there. There's lots of home-based workouts, if you don't have a gym, or obviously when we have kids, sometimes it's hard to actually make it to a gym. I'm really lucky because my building has a pretty decent gym. Honestly, if it wasn't for that, I would have to do the home workouts because there's just no way I could actually make it to a gym. Another thing that's been so hard for me, my walking was just so good for my mental. I'm just not able to get out and walk 10,000 steps anymore. It's just not possible. I can do some shorter walks here and there. It's also just freaking cold outside. Not really probably the best time of year to start my fitness postpartum glow up. I think I'm going to invest in one of those walking pads. I'm going to try and get one on sale just so that when I'm watching my shows or editing or doing whatever, I can get my steps in. So those are kind of the little things that I'm setting up for myself so that I can actually do the things that I want to do. I think that's also a barrier too. When you have it in your head that you want to put time and energy into yourself, but you also kind of don't have like a game plan, it makes it really hard to actually show up and do those things. So that's basically what I'm setting up for my fitness part. There's some other things that I want to focus on, my nutrition, of course, because that's so important. I also just want to have some type of morning routine, even if it's just 5 minutes, a bit of journaling, meditation, or just something to prime myself in the morning. I just feel like I'm off with all of the things that I used to do to really help myself feel grounded. So those are some other things that I'm going to be working on and trying to add in slowly, try to really, like I said, intentionally make time for myself. So I'll finish things up. The Aven Sickle Fate Restorative Protective Cream, which is like my holy grail moisturizer. If you stayed this long, thank you so much. Why is it so hard to talk to a camera? I swear. I've been like over here sweating while I've been filming this video. The first is always the hardest. Thanks so much for sticking around. I hope I did not completely ramble. We'll see what I have to work with when I go to edit this video. Yeah, and I'll see you next time.